Hello and welcome everyone to to our show, Tawheed Spiritual Unity of the Three Principles. Been doing so different shows that I started getting confused, but this one is special and I'm glad to be back. Today's topic is we are the entire ocean in a drop, and this is inspired by the famous quote of Rumi's, "We are not a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop." And this is a group discussion. Everyone is welcome to share wherever it occurs to them to share. And I'll start with myself. And this is one of my favorite quotes, and I reckon Harry's too. We are the entire ocean in a drop means to me that two things, two things comes to mind when I hear this. The first one is that the oneness of life, that we are all in it as one and we are not separate, even if it looks to us that we are separate from each other, but we are all connected, whether we see it or not. This is true for everyone, and we see this when we go beyond our separate realities, what we think about each other is what we think about the world, and get connected to the second meaning of this quote to me, the infinite potential that resides within us, the space within, if you want to say so, or the fitra, as we say in Arabic. And so,
what does fitra mean? Fitra, sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what does it mean again, Omar? Fitra?
Well, fitra is the space within. It's our default mode. It's like we were born into fitra. We were born pure consciousness, and whatever we learn is actually getting us away from our innocence. And it's funny because we were born knowing that we are the entire ocean in a drop. And as we grow older and get indoctrinated and get programmed, we start forgetting. And so our mission becomes getting back to that innocence again. So I hope that this show or this conversation will bring us again to that innocence, and we will leave feeling our true self again. So over to you, Harry.
Yeah, as Omar said, this is my favorite quote. I love Rumi, but this particular quote, when I heard it, kind of rocked my boat. Sid had often talked about we are a drop in the ocean, and I had experienced that on many different levels, but that the whole ocean is inside of this drop. I never really grasped that, even though Sid always implied that. And he always said, go inside and experience the God or the spirit or the soul or pure consciousness of who you are. But I, as a human being, could not grasp that this ocean is all in me, and I have that, as Omar said, that unlimited possibility. And until I felt that, I was always still seeing spiritual, God, the ocean, outside of myself. Even though I was teaching go inside and all that, I still had doubts. I still questioned, me too? I'm included in this great journey of spirit? And as long as I doubted it, I could not feel the ocean. I could feel the ocean in everybody else. I could feel the ocean in the universal intelligence, or as the Muslims say, the infinite intelligence, which I love as a quote. But I couldn't feel it in me. And then one day it became alive. It wasn't just a concept, it came alive in me. And then I could feel trust in it, faith in it. If you can't trust God in you, you're always going to question your gut feeling. You're going to question the beautiful design that God has for us. And we're going to question our own power, our own, words we hear is low self-esteem. How could you be in the principles and have low self-esteem? Well, it's simple. You simply don't feel the God in you. Because once you feel that power and you see, it must prove itself. That's very important. The ocean must prove itself in you. And when you see that, experience that, what happens is, well, what I like to say, life becomes beyond your dreams. It becomes more than you could imagine. So that quote, Omar, shook me because I had a blind spot to it. Like I only saw the first half of Rumi's quote, and I never grasped it. And when Rumi said that, and ever since then, I've been listening differently to everyone. And I noticed that some people in the three principles have a much stronger I am the commander of my ship. And I must say, those are confident people. Those are people who are walking in truth. Because if you're not the commander of your ship, then unfortunately, you're still a victim of outside circumstances. That's about all I got right now. I could talk a little bit more about some personal experiences and so on, but that's basically what I felt about that quote. And when you talk about the oneness, you're not talking about I and everything else. You're talking about I am included in that. And when I was on Salt Spring and had 4 or 5 minutes of absolute silence where my body disappeared and I was just in consciousness, I was still here, but I was the ocean. And guess what happened when I started to think, Omar? I became back into an individual, a human being again, and saw differently, but yet I was back in the world of duality, me and everything else. But it looked different. It felt different. It felt sublime. And after that, no matter what happened to me, I always had a positive attitude to it, always, because I recognized something that I didn't know. Being spiritual is not a concept, it's a reality.
I love it, Harry. And you said something really interesting, and it touched a point that especially in the three principles community, a lot of us, especially when we are new, we follow, when we think of ourselves as a drop in the ocean, we follow other people, and that's the opposite of what Sydney Banks used to say. Don't be a follower and follow your own wisdom. And the more you see through that blind spot, you become the entire ocean again, and you start not following, but just listening for words of wisdom that will guide you back to yourself, and then you're back as a leader and not as a follower. And this is this is how I see it now, because I used to be a follower, you know. I used to go and watch different people, what they say, and I was missing the point, that they were pointing me at something much deeper that has all the answers I'm looking for. And so I was innocently, you know, going and trying to look for more information that will kind of lead me back to, you know, that space within me. But to my surprise, it was never more information that did the job. It was more of you know, waking up from inside and following what shows up as an answer to me.
You know, you bring up a really good point. Sometimes I hear people get very disappointed when they go inside with what follows, because they have a feeling of euphoria and beautiful feelings, and then life takes them in a different direction. I started to realize why that is. They're seeing their insight as the end of the journey, where Sydney Banks is saying it's the beginning of the journey. It's just the start of your new life. It's not the end of your new life. And when you try to hold on to, you know, that feeling, you start to follow other people, because you start to doubt yourself and you start to question yourself. When you did a little short 5-minute talk on listening, what it's like to really listen to truth in the three principles, and sort of seeing the fallacies of how you can get a little bit trapped in the information of that. And I thought it was brilliant, because it was coming from original thought. It wasn't coming from a canned or a systems approach to truth. It was, and you could see yourself dig in, like you were digging in deeper to try and share this impossible message, this invisible message of what it's like to be in the principles without fluff, without, I'm going to use the Muslim word, without attachment. To me, that's a Muslim word. No attachment. And when we're speaking from our heart, we're speaking from the ocean. We're speaking from, we don't have a personal opinion at that moment. We are touching the big picture, or, you know, whatever we want to call it. So if you go down in the principles or go down in life, either because of something outside is happening that is challenging you, or vice versa, you're thinking, recognize that it's just the beginning. I'm 75, and I can promise you I'm just a baby. I have a lot to learn. And thank goodness I have a lot to learn. Nice to see you, 𝒂𝒏. You're muted.
Nice to see you, Harry. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Do you have something to add to this topic that you were? If not, we can just continue, and you can roll.
For now, we can continue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this ocean in a drop, like Omar, it's unbelievable that you have the power of God in you. And someone once asked Sid Banks, "Are you Jesus Christ?" And he said, "We all are." And that's who Omar is, the ocean in the drop. When he is in that higher level of consciousness. And then he comes down to being a human being in the world of duality. But it's never the same. Every time you touch God, every time you taste Allah, every time you get a little bit closer to another human being, you become a better human being.
And that, in fact, that's how we all are. It's really interesting to watch someone playing a victim, and you know, I still get caught up, and that's me playing a victim. And it's interesting to see, you know, a client playing a victim and then waking up to that and seeing, you know, thoughts being included in that equation, and it's all her thinking, and that, you know, or his thinking, and they don't have to buy into these thoughts. Not buying into this victim thoughts bring us back to the entire ocean, bring us back to that infinite potential inside of us, brings about our creativity, our you know, our connection again, our love again. And that's what the entire ocean is all about, you know. And the good news is that it's up for grabs to everybody here and everyone in the world. You know, that's really helpful. And you know, even we don't see it sometimes, that's why we keep sharing this, is to kind of you know, poke people on their shoulder and then to see it again, and to just remind them that this is the human experience, and welcome to the human race. We all forget, but we all eventually remember. But who we truly are is the entire ocean, no doubt. Whatever happens in the surface that we don't, you know, that we don't see, behind it all, there is infinite potential within us, no matter what, no matter what's happening in the outside.
And that's why we have to talk to the beauty of people rather than to look at what's wrong with them and try and fix them with their problems. When people touch their beauty, they touch the ocean. They touch the truth of who they are. And all looking at people from a negative perspective is a bad habit, which then leads to other bad habits like drinking and drugging or sexual abuse or whatever we want to, or overeating or anxiety or stress. But it all comes from the fact that we're looking at something ugly that is untrue, an illusion created by thought type of stuff. Feeling beauty is different than seeing a fault. I have a client, and he and his mom, who he loves desperately, and he lives with her, even though he's in his 40s, he continually fights with her. So I had a couple of sessions with him, and he didn't quite see it. He saw, oh, I shouldn't get upset by my mother, because it's always coming from me, but she's still a bad person. He didn't quite go all the way into love, which I guess we could say Omar is the ocean. He didn't quite go into that unconditional love that she's a beautiful person. And as long as he's saying that he must do this, not the anger or the disappointment is coming from his thought, but she is a bad person, it's still a technique. It's not good enough. It's psychologically better than it is if he's angry with her all the time. But until you see the ocean in everything, then you are not really connected to your own beauty. And the moment you connect to your own beauty or to the beauty of the ocean, you become a better human being. It just an elixir. It's a lubricant. It opens your heart. And as I often say, you can't have too much love. Impossible.
Love it.
Can I share something?
Yeah, I was about to open it up for you guys. Go ahead, Maya.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that I just got this beautiful ocean feeling from listening to you. It was awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful, Maya.
Yeah. I just felt like, yeah, this is me, ocean.
Yeah.
And I got a similar experience from going to church last Monday when you celebrated Easter. I was just like, normally I would participate in the singing and like be following the program or whatever. But this time I just sat there quiet with my eyes closed and feeling that inner space. But somehow I felt that it was sort of limited to like, I was trying to include the whole church, like or everybody in there, but that would start my imagination and I didn't quite get it.
You got a positive feeling. Sid always said, if you are getting
But I know that
a positive feeling, you're getting it. And
I know, but still I was imagining that it was limited, sort of, but in another way it wasn't limited. I just was there on my own, sort of, and not having to think of what everybody else was doing. It was really beautiful. And I love when I get that feeling. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love when they get this feeling? This is what's life about. Thank you, Maya.
You can feel just what Maya shared, how it softened the space. That's very beautiful, Maya. You softened our place.
Anyone else want to share some something with us, insights, or share some words of wisdom?
Yeah, I can share with a small thought from Pythagoras, the philosopher Greek who first started this idea about the world as a small man and the man as a big word. So this is is a kind of combination between man and the world. And from this idea, Jalaluddin Rumi get this idea about the man is just a small, not a small drop, is an ocean. When we think about a man as a small drop, meaning that doesn't have any idea about how the world is, doesn't have any essence, true essence. But when we think about the man as an ocean, we think about the oneness of all the drops in the ocean, and this oneness that we are interacting with each other inside this ocean. So it softens our mind and our heart when we think that we are ocean and we are drops within the ocean too. We are ocean and everyone is ocean, but we carry a lot of drops within us. So Pythagoras once started this idea. He was thinking about that, about this man as a big word. The man is a reflection of the world. Man has everything that governs this cosmos, this universe within him. And from this wisdom, from this intelligence within us, we can see ourselves not as a drop, but as ocean. because we carry everything that governs all this universe within us. Once we close our eyes, we can see that we are not here or there, we are everywhere. So we are ocean. We are inside the ocean and we are everywhere. We are not a drop. But we can think that we are a drop when we think about our bodies. But once we exit our bodies, we are not that. We are ocean, we are universe, we are everything.
Yes. What I keep having this image in my head. When I was in Mexico, I read the book of 𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒓𝒆 and loved it. It just really seemed to speak to me from this Turkish author. And in the end, they were talking about the ark, and was he the man on the ark who was teaching Noah and all this stuff. And then at the end, he just had this beautiful metaphor. He says, the ark is our body, and we are the commander of the ark. And the water is these troubled waters of life that take you in the right direction or the wrong direction to the right direction. It's just troubled waters of life that are there to not only teach you and guide you, but for you to experience so that you know how to take this ark to the right place, which is being what you're mentioning, 𝒐𝒏, one with God. And I just love that metaphor, because for the first time, I saw my role. I am the commander of my reality. Yet, I have to go through the troubled waters of life to get to perfection or oneness. And nobody had explained to me that metaphor before, and also how duality and non-duality are perfection. Both are needed for it. And in that image, Omar, Adam came from God, but he couldn't see himself or feel himself. He was just numb until he called it the he Adam, until the she Adam came, which is the bone from Adam, which is God. That was the only way he could feel and see and experience this reality, and obviously create babies as well. And I just somehow, when he was talking, I saw this world of duality as singularity, this world of singularity as what fun it is to be in duality. What a treat to be able to create.
It's so beautiful, actually. We cannot create without duality. And we cannot be in this beautiful space of ocean if you are trapped in our bodies. We have to go beyond our bodies, meaning beyond our sensations, our feelings. We have to understand the feelings, because we feel through our bodies and we get trapped in the body and we miss the beauty of the ocean. We miss that when we're trapped in our body. So we have to understand that we have to go beyond our feelings and emotions. We have to, meaning we have to go beyond our thoughts. We don't have to trust our thoughts, because the thoughts that give us these emotions and those feelings and trapped us in our bodies, and we became a drop and we miss the beauty of the ocean. Once we go beyond our bodies, we experience the ocean. We experience the oneness, we experience the beauty of the water. We became so soft that we can go with the water wherever it will take us, without judgment, without being scared or having any kind of fear, because now we are beyond all the feeling, the emotions, and with that, we are in consciousness, we are ocean.
What's interesting, when Omar gave his 5-minute talk, he used totally different words, but I honestly feel like he was talking about exactly the same thing you're talking about, Suad, except from his experience rather than as a metaphor type of thing. The very similar type of feeling of what it is to see life in truth. I want to know how this funny thing works. It's like, I do want to know. I'm curious. And Sid brought this interesting added ingredient that in my mind, why he came at this time to be enlightened, which is the principle of thought combined with mind and consciousness, but to allow us to not get out of troubled waters, because we were stuck in problem. And the principle, the purity of understanding the nature of thought frees us to navigate as a commander with the right tool. What's the good?
There's a song. Do you know the song Bridge Over Troubled Water?
Oh yeah, great.
It's not,
Simon and Garfunkel.
Right. I've been listening to that since I was a kid, and now recently I got the sense of it. It's God, really. Like whenever you're tired of being in that troubled water, you just be on that bridge, right? That's beautiful.
So it's not really troubled water. That's the joke. It's actually takes you to the bridge of freedom, bridge of insight, the bridge of understanding,
bridge of whatever
we need and want in this moment. Anybody else? I know Omar was going to ask that, so I beat him to the punch.
Yeah. You know, when you said, Hari, problem, we are going through problem to problem, meaning that we are in our bodies, meaning that we are a drop. But once we start seeing life as just a beautiful ocean, beautiful experience, we can swim freely on it. We don't have to judge any problem, because we know that the nature of problem is our thought. We think a certain kind of thoughts that, you know, we see something happening in our life as a problem, and depend of every drop, if every one of us. Now, your problem is not my problem. Your problem is not Omar's problem. When we see that as a drops, but once we start living in the ocean, your thought is my thought. Your problem is my problem. And it's not a problem, it's just experience. And as the nature of thought, they came and they go. They came and they go. They come in and they go out. We don't have to trust that there is a problem. There is just a thought that they come and they go. This is the beauty of the ocean.
It washes through us like a song called "The Bridge Over Troubled Waters." It washes through us with beautiful sounds.
Yeah.
And we let go of our personal opinions. It's the problem. Sid says all problems come from memory. I add personal opinion. My personal opinion about what's happening seems to get in the way of what is actually happening. It's always specially beautiful. And once we trust it, we live it. It's funny how we doubt the truth, but we sure like the lies a lot.
Well, you said, Harry, that the beauty of duality, this is what we doubt. The truth.
I have never, I don't know how many clients, Suad, who has asked me this question, should we live in a world of duality or non-duality? And until I read the wisdom of Merdad, I never could answer the question. I could pretend to answer the question, but I always knew, gee, I don't know. I don't know that. That's what we want. We want to see those questions from a wisdom perspective. As Omar said, the wisdom is always there. You access, that wisdom. I want to read a quote by Sid Banks, which echoes what Suad and Omar are talking about. And this is a quote from Sid, but from words, not from a book. And it's from the Thought and Alcoholism podcast he put out. And Joe, you've heard this quote before, but I have really taken to it. If you want change, it must be in a positive way. It cannot be in a negative way, because that will keep the falseness alive. That's what Omar was talking about. If you see it in a negative way, you'll keep the falseness alive. Once you see the falseness of your thought system, it releases wisdom and heads us into a positive reality. Then we see alcohol for what it is. That is, it is only a human being giving it the power through lack of consciousness or lack of understanding. I just love that, because it's not just talking about we have a positive feeling. When we see, when we see what the falseness of our thoughts are, my personal opinion, I drop that and I access my wisdom. When Sid talked a lot about wisdom, I think he means the ocean in that metaphor that you're talking about, feeling the ocean of truth inside of yourself. And we do know that when this little thing quiets down, answers appear, wisdom appears, stillness brings answers, noise brings information, lots and lots of information. Someone said here about information, and to me, that's where the world is stuck, in information. Looking to fit information in a logical way. I went to a talk, Omar, in our community about addiction. There wasn't one word about healing. Not once did they talk about healing. They talked about harm reduction, and they talked about stigmas, and they talked about trauma, but they mostly just talked about controlling this problem. And Omar, they were so beautiful. They were just gorgeous people. I had never realized that these innocent people are sharing their hearts to everybody else, but they don't have the tools to help people past their addiction. And they're excited about what they're offering, because they're offering harm reduction. But it's just a bunch of information of coping with the stuff. And one lady who had been hooked on cocaine for 34 years was angry. And I said something, I said, well, they don't know anything about healing. They know they are doing their best, but they only know about harm reduction. They're so innocent. And oh God, they were beautiful. They were just, if only they had the right tools, imagine what they could do. It's just amazing. Totally amazing. And that's our job, guys. We're here to share with the world the right tools. It's our job. I'm not saying we're perfect at it. but we are doing our best. And the reason we're doing our best is because we care. And that's why Omar and I started this and Suat came on. We cared. We cared. We also saw it was an opportunity, but we knew that if we could tap into the ocean, there was going to be a lot of help for people. And there has been, by the way, and there has been. And some of it, I guess, Omar, would be because of Rumi, because that's who we took to, you know, in our early shows type of thing.
And also this understanding is working, is changing lives. And people, because it's true, and this is the human truth, everyone resonated with that. When you talk with people, they just, you know, go like that, because it's tapping in their truth. This is within them. This is the wisdom and the intelligence within them. A lot of people, they go just like that because they understand. They don't go like that. What? They go like that. Because yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when you give information, people, they go like, but once you talk about the truth, people, they go like that. They won't like that because it's the truth. Yes.
They flow on the
waves. Yeah, because you know what, they are in the ocean. They are just dancing and swimming in the ocean. They feel that. Deep down, they feel, yes, my thoughts, I'm experiencing my thought, yes. And this is my level of consciousness, yes. And this is the mind who govern everything, yes. They understand with every language. I spoke with people in French, Arabic, English, the same, they do like that. Because three principles is the truth. It's within us. It's us, actually. We are three principles. As a human being, we are that. We are the ocean, as Rumi said. We are the wisdom, the intelligence. Yes.
What came to me is that I was going to say that when we just use our personal thinking system, we're using the old. And it's like we take the ship's wheel and just spin it. And so the ship will just go around in a circle. And so we're repeating the same mistakes. But when we open up, we're opening up to the ocean and becoming in harmony. And so the two become one. And we go with the flow of the sea, but we're still guiding the ship, but we're being guided at the same time. And it's always seeing that it's in the unknown, the new is where the answers are. The answers don't come in the old. The old is just repeating the same mistakes and the same patterns. And that's what's creating separation, because we're believing patterns of the old, of what we believe to be true, rather than opening up to see the beauty that opens within all of us, of the ocean, of the oneness, of the togetherness, that we're all together beyond what we believe to be true.
Yeah. And open to new experiences, like with an open heart and an open mind. Beautiful, Joe. Very beautiful.
Can we hear from someone else?
Please.
Por favor.
Not all at once. Divyesh, come on. You always have something to say.
Divyesh is
Hello.
just waking up.
As usual, it's 6:45 in the morning here. And thank you so much for this. I haven't been to the Tawhid for a while, but it's wonderful. But anyway, yeah. As far as this, Harry put his finger on my block, which was trust. The word trust in the unknown, or rather, trust in the unknown, this intelligence which is intangible, in this creative intelligence, in this higher power, as they might use in the 12-step programs, which I'm finding limiting because of something that, because of when they say, look, there's plenty beautiful wisdom in there, but the minute I hear myself say, oh, I'm Divyesh and I am this addiction or that alcohol or something, there's already, we are looking in the wrong direction. This is what I've heard you guys say just now. that the healing is beyond this labeling or something, and we are looking at the well-being. So the word trust in the God of, or in God of our understanding, higher power, intelligence, whatever you want to call it, is something, because something I find difficult when I hear your beautiful versions of your insights. There is resonance, because otherwise I wouldn't have come this far. But it's this trust is a block in that. I think it's just past thinking, Omar. You say the living in this conditioned thinking, which is like, oh yeah, but what is the reality? I mean, is it gonna help me handle the legal affairs which might come up in X amount of months? Or is it gonna do this? Is it gonna do that? And I keep on forgetting that in that old conditioned thinking, that the reality, the creative intelligence doesn't have a chance to show itself with all the beauty and joy which you guys talk about. So I've just brought up my block, which is
let's talk about that. Omar, how do you see trust in the unknown, which is trust in the ocean? How do you see it?
Well, hearing you talking, Divyas, you reminded me of a quote by Alan Watts. He once said that if you cannot trust yourself, you cannot even trust your mistrust of yourself. So that without this underlying trust in the world system of nature, you are simply paralyzed. So in this, I just want to make clear that without trust, we always live in fear. We always are scared from the unknown. We can't just be in that, parts of in the ocean, and it's not something that we gain. We're not talking about that kind of trust, when we are born in pure consciousness, we are pure consciousness, we are in trust, we are connected to the divineness of us, and so in what comes to mind is that there is some information, there just some unlearning that it's kind of what could make that blind spot obvious, so it's not a blind spot anymore. So yeah, that there are no techniques to do this. It's simply loosening up about what I think it's true, that is holding me to trust. And once it is clear to you that it's thought, like it's thought, devious, but on a deeper level it doesn't seem like it. But once it's loosened up and it's become clear to you that it's what there is no trust because you think there is no trust. And it seems like it's not. It seems like it's I don't have trust because of something out there, like something separate from you that has its own life or right to make you feel not trusting enough. But there is no such a thing. There is nothing separate from you that could make you feel anything, really. It always goes from, we project what's going on in here into what we see or what we think.
You see it too. Just a sec, let's go around a little bit, Divyesh. I want to deal with that question a little bit deeper. Yeah, go ahead, Suad. How do you see what this question of trust that?
Yeah, for me, this is the job of our mind. Our little mind is always, this is his job. It's always looking for safety, security, and predictability. Once we are aware that there is none of the safety or security or predictability, this is the unknown. We start trusting. Once we know that there is nothing safe in this world, there is nothing secure, there is nothing so predictable, there is nothing. Just through our thinking, as we think through our little mind that we have to be safe, we are scared from the unknown. And this is part of the human experience. Everything is we don't know nothing about it, we are scared from it. And this is what messed up our faith too, because we don't know where is God, we don't know nothing about this unknown. So we run away from it. And this is the role, or this is what religions comes in. They come just to make us trust this unknown. But once we go deep within us, once we, as Omar said, we loosen up our thoughts and we start seeing from another perspective that there is not unknown. Everything is known because we are the ocean. We are the world. We are the universe. Everything is known. The unknown doesn't exist anymore in our mind. Once we go to our little mind, yes, we are scared from the unknown. And we are scared from any God, from anything else that we don't know nothing about it. Once we become ocean, we are this universe. There is nothing to be scared of. We are that. We cannot be scared from ourselves. We are scared from something outside of us. We have to become that through our thinking, through our consciousness, through our thoughts. Once we become that, there is nothing to scare us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to try now. In business, which I think you have a bit of a background, there's a point when you're the owner of the business and dealing with the complications of life, that you have to make decisions. And when you start making decisions, you doubt it and you question it. And then at a certain level of maturity, you recognize it might be the right decision or the wrong decision, but you've made it that you start to make decisions without stress, without thought about it. You get confident in your decision-making ability, and you start to enjoy making decisions rather than am I making the right one or the wrong one? And because of that, you become a leader because you're able to make decisions effortlessly. In the same way, with trust in the unknown, which is what I heard you ask the question about. I love being in the unknown. I don't like being in the known. I'm not that type of guy that likes that stuff. I like being in the unknown. And the more I like being in the unknown, the more comfortable I am in making my decisions based on the unknown. And what happens is it must prove itself to you, Divyesh. If you're in the unknown and you're not thinking and you're not stressed out and you're enjoying being in the unknown, loving being in the ocean or part of the ocean or the whole ocean or whatever the metaphor is, and it works out, guess what you'll do next? Over and over and over again. You keep going deeper and deeper into the trust because it works. The other, on the other hand, you notice people who are discontent. They're always discontent, no matter what the outside circumstances of life brings. Yet, some of the most content people in the world have nothing. Because they have that inner richness. They trust. It's a little bit like I used to hitchhike as a hippie all over the place. And everybody would get really anxious about hitchhiking when they were going out of the boat or the airplane or wherever they were going. And I wouldn't even give it a second thought. I knew I was going to get picked up. And sure enough, I'd stick my thumb out and guess what would happen? A car would stop. I just knew that. When you're in the unknown, you're not only the ocean, you're in happiness and contentment. You're in ease relaxation, purity, because it's so much fun being in the unknown. And it's such a drag being in my head, trying to figure out something that it's already figured out 50,000 times. No offense, but I am the most boring person I know in this universe. And I have proof of it. I have my thoughts. The unknown, you're a baby. It's fresh, young, alive, new. Oh, is it safe? Safer than not being in it. That's how safe it is. You start to realize that protecting your fears is a man-made conditional thought process. You start to realize that everything everybody is doing and teaching on TV is stupid.
Oh.
And then you try and tell people, like Sid tried to tell people about mind, thought, and consciousness, and you notice no one listens. No, they like it. And then you say, well, if they like it, they have to live it. Divyesh, you like love over fear. But fear teaches you about love. And how does it teach you? It says, let go and stop thinking so much.
Beautiful, Harry. And so thank you so much. Actually, that hit home, that Harry, what you just, I think, you know what I find in the principle, because I do between you guys and, you know, like people I resonate with, because the presence brings that trust alive for this moment or whenever. And there was one similar one that it was a bit, I think it was a conversation in our group with Mavis Karn, and she had a metaphor about a closed fist and an open fist, open hand. One, nothing gets in, stress, tension. The other one floats around, you can pick up things, you can do that, you can do this, you can wave it in the air. It says, and you know what? It's a feeling. The feeling of trust. Right now I'm getting, listening to you, Harry and Omar and Suad, is a feeling of reassurance within myself. Something that esteem you talked about right at the beginning of the hour. There is a sense of being from which I can feel that today, at least, the doing can arise out of wisdom.
Don't say at least. As soon as you say that,
yeah,
you've already stopped it. That's what people, you notice people talk about love and then they always add the word but. I know I go down, but I do this. No, it's just love. Just embrace that.
Yeah.
It's not a lie, you know. Oh, it's a telephone. Hello.
Yeah, we have to see life from a neutral perspective. Once we put the lenses of negative and positive, we get trapped.
Yeah.
But once we see life as just experience, we are here just to experience the human experience in this earth. There is nothing right or wrong, bad or good. It's just experience. And every day is a new experience. And every day I should wait for new experiences and to go like, oh my God, today I'm gonna experience something new. I don't have to put any lenses, negative or positive. It's neutral. Life is neutral. We put lenses and we said, this is wrong, this is right, this is bad, this is good, this is up, this is down, this is you, this is me. It's us. But we have to go in this neutral space to see that life is experience. We are here to enjoy the human experience, and one day we go, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you, Suad. It's a beautiful. On this weekend, I was thinking of you guys. We are going for an iftar dinner here in Sydney. And I was thinking, the first thing came to my mind was Omar, Suad, and of course my friends in the world of Islam, but you definitely entered my mind. And you know what? I'm looking forward to this so much. And it's that feeling of looking forward to a communal gathering of love, in a way, is a feeling right now. And that's a good feeling.
That's the best. Family, man, family.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Divyash, you're being taken care of.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget that. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I used to be scared from water, you know, and my dad used to always want to teach me how to swim, and he used to hold me in his hand, you know, on top of water. And I was like always scared and crying, and, you know, and he used to always tell me to just relax. Don't be scared. And, you know, and me thinking that I'm relaxed, and I wasn't. And I always, you know, I'm always underwater after he, you know, he stopped holding me. And then the moment I just fully relaxed and trusted the water, I was held by it. And it's the same, you know, when we trust that we are always being taken care of, even we don't know what's gonna happen, we will be always held. Always. Even whatever you think gonna happen, Divyash, is your thinking. It's yours, and
Yes.
it doesn't mean that this is what's gonna happen.
I love what you said about the thinking. It's the same with that insecure thinking. It's my thinking. The non-trusting is my thinking, nothing else. It's not real. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you read my newsletter, Divyash, about insecurity.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know, what occurred to me about insecurity is that, you know, when I'm okay with insecurity, I'm back to security. I'm not making it a thing. And it's the same with the, you know, fear of the unknown and trusting.
Yeah.
When I'm okay with the unknown, I'll know.
That's what Harry was talking.
Yeah, I just wanted, that's detachment. Again, it just a different way of saying that when you're detached, you're free. That's the essence of what Muhammad is teaching. As I pick it up, that's, you know, as a virgin.
Let go.
Yeah, there is a healing in detachment, a big healing.
Oh, to me,
Oh
that's Suad, that's been the biggest teaching I've gotten from Tawhid, is this word, is a sense of detachment. Remember I said at the beginning, well, you weren't here, but I didn't understand the second half of Rumi's quote, which blew my mind, made me look a little deeper. And the other is detachment, the understanding that the Muslims have about detachment. Because I come from the Western world, it's all about attachment.
It's kind of freedom. And once we are free from our thoughts, this is the pure freedom.
Yeah. I guess when Divyash was talking about unknown, Suad, I guess what happened is I became detached, you know, because you can't think and be in the unknown, obviously. As soon as you think, you're back in the world of duality. And this feeling of total freedom has been an enamored concept in my mind. We have the ability to be totally free. I mean, everyone talks about freedom, but they're always talking about it from the outside in. But imagine if everybody was imagine if I was totally free. I'll go just that far with it. And I just, to me, that's our journey, to be totally free of the bounds of our thoughts.
Yes.
And yet, no, we still think. Because if we didn't think, we'd be dead. And that thought is connected to pure thought, which is connected to pure mind and connected to pure consciousness. Now, that's just intellectual there, by the way, but somehow I distinctly understand that an itsy bit.
Yes, I thank you. For
Be free
sharing.
from the shackles of the little mind.
That's right.
Yes.
That even said sweeter the way you said it, Joe. That's absolutely true. That's pure detachment.
And we become free when we become oceans.
Yeah.
There we become free, totally free.
Beautiful. Anyone else before we end this beautiful conversation?
Been kind of fun, eh? It's a neat conversation. Except what Joe said. Sorry, Joe.
Personal opinions, Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
A drop in the ocean. Okay, seems like everyone got their
Yeah, it's
question answered, and
Can I say one thing? Sorry, Omar, before you go.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, one quick thing. In the Indian culture where I come from, we have the same concept. It's called Atma and Paramatma, which is the great universal soul, whatever. And Atma is your soul, and it is part of the big one. It is so similar to Rumi, what he was talking about. Same.
yeah. It just Rumi says it so sweetly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use a word for sages that I must admit I've never heard before, but I love. Poet. They call Rumi a poet, which I guess means also sage, but their wise leaders are poets. And when you think of poetry, it does carry pictures rather than words.
Oh.
But you know as well, the original Sanskrit word I was looking up for sage was the clearer of darkness.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. In Vedas and Agamas, in Sanskrit, there is everything.
What does it mean? Sorry, Swat.
Vedas and Agamas.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we're getting into another discussion of another religion, and we'll leave that
Yeah.
for
Another conversation.
Another conversation. We'll show
Poetry and the three principles. That's how
That's
it's
it.
called.
That's it. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, this was absolutely fantastic and really fun conversation, and mainly insightful, at least for me. And I would love to thank you all for coming and joining us and sharing your insights and your questions and just being with us here. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Suha. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Divyas. Thank you all for being here. And I want to close it with one last quote from our amazing Jalaluddin Rumi. And this one goes, "We carry inside us the wonders we seek outside us."
Oh.
Say it one more time, Omar. Sometimes it's good to say deep stuff a second time.
We carry inside us the wonders we seek outside us.
Beautiful.
Always pointing to the inside. You notice that? Always. It's beautiful. This guy has a way with words that, yeah, got to admit, pearls of wisdom.
Absolutely. And I'll leave you with this one. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye all.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.